Secretary Shultz, sir.
Yeah.
There you are.
Hello, Mr. President. Hello, George Shultz speaking. Mr. President, I know how terribly hard this must be to have John and Bob leave your side, and all of us involved with you. We'll miss them a great deal, and I know feel very deeply for you on that. You're such a decent, kind man that you would feel that way, and most others don't give a damn, but you do, and that's to your great credit. Well, they're great people, and they've done a wonderful job, and I know it very well, and I know George too. Fine. But I thought your speech tonight was very effective. We all listened to it, including my children, and they all felt the same way. And had to be said. I think the thing is to go on and govern. That's right. Go on, do the job that has to be done for this country. That's right, sir, and I will be standing with you and trying to do that. You always have, George, and we depend on you. It's only, as I understand, we're having our meeting with the Labor Management Group Wednesday, right? Yes, sir. They're going to be in here Wednesday. And good. I'll be there. Yeah, that would be great. Drop in hell. I'll be there. Well, okay. You know that. Wonderful. We're going to have a cabinet meeting Wednesday, you know. Well, you may not know, but I ordered it today. We must have a cabinet meeting, a very brief, little staff meeting. But by God, I'm going to stay in that labor management thing. We're going to fight it out. Good. Okay. Fine. Okay, sir. All right, George, and it's so sweet of you to call. Well, give my best to your lovely wife. I sure will.
Hello. Good morning, Mr. President. I just hope I didn't give you too much trouble by what we did at the cabinet the other day. I thought that was the best way to get them all working with the OMB rather than thinking we were trying to, cut them off. I think it came out exactly right. I read notes a little later with Al Haig and found that we had both been pursuing exactly the same course, even though we hadn't been discussing it together, so I think it was exactly correct. The good thing for you to do, Roy, would be to call each cabinet officer and say, now look, what's your situation on personnel, and if you've got any real things here that you need to, you sort of take the leadership there. Would you do that? And I've already done it, yes, sir. Good, and work very closely with Ken on this, too. Yes, right. He's going to be part of the great. One other thing, give me your feeling on the economic situation. You still think we should stay steady in the buggy, or It would be my view that we should not at this time add further to any control-type steps that we have had, except the need to give very, very careful attention to the energy matter and the prospective fuel oil supplies and problems. Yeah. Oh, that for sure. But I meant in terms of wage price controls and so forth. There still isn't, I was, and perhaps if you wouldn't mind, you might give John Connally a call, because he's always for the big play, but, and that I asked you to call him on this. I sure will. And say, I know that he thinks we ought to freeze just because it'd be good for the psychology of the country. Well, the trouble is, Roy, we went through all that, and don't you still think a freeze at this point? Or don't let me lead you, but... No, I agree. And how about George and Herb? Are they standing as firm on that, too? I know they are standing exactly the same, particularly when one thinks of not just the single dimension of getting in, but the dual dimension of how to get out. Right. And when you think of the whole thing... and the damp economy is still rolling along pretty good. It's doing very well. I would believe that even though there are critics from both sides, that we're probably steering the best possible course, considering the underlying facts and considering further the fact that the government doesn't make the economy, it only has some minimal effect in influencing it. Yeah. We can't make it like we want it to. We can only... Of course, the argument that is made by, the pollster type like Sindlinger is that, well, psychologically is what we need. We need a real boost in it. If we can give everybody a hell of a boost by freezing for 90 days. Now, what's your answer to that? Well, first I agree that the issue really is largely psychological, but that a freeze is an overkill psychologically. the more that we can within our present system, march out these clubs and show them around a while and do a little with them. I think that's our best psychological tool, rather than a phrase is a big overkill. Right. Psychologically would be my view. Right. Okay, right. Okay. Well, you just keep your spirit up and don't all let all this crap about Watergate worry you. It's going to come out, you know what I mean? Quite the contrary. Matter of fact, we're getting to the bottom of the son of a bitch, and it's a terrible, heartrending thing for me to have fellows like poor Maury Stans, who's as honest as the day is long, and John Mitchell, who had a crazy wife, too, and so let me get involved in that crappy, those terrible Vesco people, and of course John and Bob, who are, but on the other hand, I think we had to do what we did with John and Bob. Would you agree? We had. There was no choice. It's too bad that their families particularly, having to suffer, but they'll come through it stronger. You know, the funny thing about all these things, adversity pulls a family together. I said to both of them in the last moment that I saw them, is that we're proud that speaking for the others, that George Shultz and others, we're proud of you to step up and take the position you did, that is to leave, in order that the country can go on and the president can go on. Right. And I think it brought a little tear to Bob's eyes. Right. Because it was a tough decision, and well, it was terribly tough. I must say I did it last Sunday. It's hard to realize it was only a week ago, and it's about the hardest moment of my life. I've done a lot of things that affect myself that have been hard, but that doesn't make as much difference, but when it affects your people that you really have great affection for, boy, it really tears you up, doesn't it? And I keep thinking about their families as well. Oh, their wonderful wives and children and so forth. They'll have their day. They will, and it'll all come back, and things will be well. But in the meantime, we're digging in and doing everything that we can do for you. I think the cabinet thing had a good effect psychologically on them. It had an excellent effect. There were two or three little down spots that I'm working on cleaning up. Kemp, particularly, Kemp Weinberger, he felt pretty bad about it. About the counselor role. Right. I know. Well, the thing about Kemp is this: he's going to be a counselor in fact. But you know what I mean? But yes, he's going to be in charge of this. But you see, the counselor thing, Roy, simply wasn't working. It was causing too much trouble with others. But I want Cap to know that I consider. Look, let's face it. There are about 4 or 5 members on the domestic side that I have to talk to. One is Cap, one is Shultz, and of course, pardon the Attorney General. The other one at times may be Lynn, and otherwise it's all tangential. I mean, sometimes you talk to the Secretary of Agriculture, the Secretary of the Interior, the Secretary of so forth, but you ought to give Cap a call and tell him that you and I chatted about it, and that I wanted him to know that I had to do this for that, but that he ought to know that I expect him to be my counselor for those affairs. I will make sure to do that, because he's a superb fellow. He is. And also the kind of guy we can rely on. Well, he's the perfect man for the job right there. I've considered that department the soft programs, the soft people, and he's going to make sure that they aren't too soft, that they all harden up a bit. Right. So they were a little let down by him, but other than that, a lot of people there were buoyed up very substantially. Good. All right, Roy. Have a good weekend. Thank you, Mr. President.
I want Connally to get with Shultz and Ash and
about the economy.
About the economy,
Yeah.
There's some worrisome things on the horizon that it's essential that they really focus in on that.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I mean, you mean the stock market?
Yes, and we had this earlier problem with DuPont and Perot.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a very key thing, and Perot's getting nervous, so
Oh, I see.
we've got to take a very, very hard look at Phase 3 in the light of the events and the impact of Watergate. We can't just roll along in theoretical purity.
I know. Connally is all for a very strong move.
Yeah.
The difficulty is that they can't get any of our economists to agree that it would be the right thing to do, but what the hell?
Well,
sometimes you do things for political reasons, even though they're not good economic reasons.
That's right,
and I've been. That's what I had already told Shultz et al. To get together for a meeting with me on. Well, I told him to be ready Well, as a matter of fact, they're going to be ready Wednesday. You see, damn it, Shultz is out of the country or traveling. These people are always taking too damn many trips, really. But basically, I think they're going to be ready Wednesday. And we just got to sit down and knuckle down to this damn thing.
That's right. That's right. And I'm sure it's...
Connally wants another move like Phase 1, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
I'm not sure that we're not going to have to do this. We would, under any other circumstances, never do it.
yeah,
But
just do it in order to get the country to feel reassured, even though it may have a bad economic impact, because you need it for political purposes.
exactly right, and you need this. It's a confidence problem up on the street.
That's right. I know that. I'm keenly aware of it, Al. Keenly aware of it. And I hit Shultz on it hard, and we've got to hit Ash. The rest, as a matter of fact, might be a pretty good move to make.
I think so.
We can hope Shultz gets back from his junketing and gets to...
He's going to be at a meeting at 4 tomorrow afternoon that I pulled together here.
Who are you having at the meeting? Schultz?
Schultz,
Ash,
and he's coming back. Simon.
Huh? Simon.
Who's a hell of an impressive guy.
He's impressive as hell.
And
Burns? Stein, right.
And maybe we ought to add Burns. But I think maybe we go in-house first.
In-house first, yeah. But the point that I make is this. They've got to realize that there are times when we do things that may not be economically right, but which are politically imperative. That's really the August 1571 thing. Many had doubts on the economics, but all knew it was necessary politically, so we did it.
Well, that's what we're about. That's the name of the game.
And, frankly, we've got to push Shultz off of the sort of the doctrinaire view here.
Very much so.
And
Simon agrees with that.
What does Simon feel?
He says that Shultz is on the wrong wicket. He said not only politically, but
economically?
quite frankly, economically.
What's Simon think now, then? What's he believe we ought to do?
He thought that in January we moved in Phase 3 in a disastrous way.
Yeah, I agree with that, but what does he think he should do now?
He thinks
Maybe freeze?
some healthy control.
Mm-hmm.
But he said he doesn't want to prejudge that, and he's got some broad ideas.
Good.
Which will come out tomorrow.
Good.
And the same on the energy. He thinks we've got to
I agree.
really reshuffle.
And that's one place where we can get Connally active in the energy thing. I think Connally rather than Agnew, the idea of putting Agnew in charge of energy that would be a dead loser.
No, we can't do that. He doesn't know it. It's too sensitive.
Yeah.
Secretary Shultz returning your calls.
Yeah. Hello, Mr. President. George, I read your talking points. I think they're very good. The thing that I think that all of you should emphasize, so as to make the news and all the rest, is the utter insanity of the across-the-board freeze, going on forever and ever. Wages, prices, rents, interest, profits, that would bring on a recession. I would simply say that. Rejected that. We've also rejected the idea of the status quo because we've got to do some things. And then on the rent thing, for whatever it's worth, I'd point out that I just put it right on the president. He made this decision because he's seen rent control abroad and in the United States, and where you have it, it means slums. And a shortage of housing, which we don't want. But, hit that very hard on the rent control.
Also on that, Mr. President, in the month after the Phase 3 started, the rents went up 0.5 in the month, the next month 0.4, the next month 0.3.
I saw your figures on
now they've come in nicely, and that's why we don't have any more
Your point is that we don't need rent control because rents are not a problem.
Right.
That's right, except in certain isolated areas.
Right.
But the talking points are excellent, and just fight it out, okay?
Okay.
All right, George.
Very good, sir.